Hey guys, Trey here with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're taking a closer look at this performance stainless steel brake line kit for the front of your 1999 through 2004 Mustang by SR Performance. If you're a Mustang owner looking to improve the braking performance, reduce the brake fade, and get a more responsive pedal feel, this upgrade is definitely worth a look. This brake line kit is designed with stainless steel braided construction, not only enhancing the durability, but it also provides a direct and firm braking feel. Unlike those stock rubber lines that can expand under pressure, these stainless steel lines resist expansion, giving you improved pedal feedback and control. Overall, this kit is going to deliver a more consistent braking experience. The lines themselves are made of high-quality 304 grade stainless steel braided exterior design with a PTFE inner tube that together provide extra strength and resistance to wear and tear. The SR lines have also been tested in excess of 4,000 PSI, so you know they're going to hold up even in the most extreme conditions or track days. As an added bonus, the stainless steel won't degrade or corrode like rubber lines, meaning less maintenance in the long run. Finally, the OEM style fittings make this kit a direct fit for your Mustang, so installation should be pretty straightforward without needing any major modifications, as we'll show you here in a second. In terms of pricing, this kit offers excellent value for the performance benefits it brings to your braking system, coming in right around the $75 mark. Stainless steel brake lines are generally going to be more expensive than standard rubber lines, but these are more affordable than the other stainless steel kits here on the site at the time of this video. The install is relatively straightforward, earning a 2 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter, and should take about an hour to complete. You'll need some basic hand tools along with the brake fluid to bleed the system afterwards. While this isn't the most difficult install, you want to take your time and make sure everything is fitted correctly and the brake system is properly bled. It helps to have a second person there during that bleeding process. And now let's check out an install video from one of our AmericanMuscle.com customers and see exactly how this kit goes on your Mustang.
Alright guys, so I basically have all of the tools that you will need. First, you're going to need a 3/8 socket, and then you're going to need a, let me just sit down here, a 10 millimeter for the old brake hose banjo bolt. For the new brake hose banjo bolt, you're going to need a 16 millimeter. I'm going to use an 11 millimeter. I'll make sure to specify that when I'm going through it. Because I have aftermarket calipers. I have 19 millimeter aftermarket lugs, so that's what I'll be using, whatever lug nut size you have. Use that. This is my 3/8 to 1/2 inch adapter because I'm going to be using an impact gun. Again, you don't need that. Just a breaker bar to get your wheel, your lug nuts off, but I will be using that to make my life easier. A 7/16 wrench, because that's for the rubber hose for the brake line up to the hard line, the metal line. I'm going to be using a vice grip to help get the little retaining clip out. This will also be assistance for that. Hammer is going to be for lightly tapping the clip back in when we're done, and then you need a jack to get it up into the air. And don't forget, you're going to need to flush your brakes when you're done, or bleed them, so you will need whatever brake fluid goes into your car. .3, I like Lucas Oil brake fluid, so that's what I'm going to be using. Okay, so now we are in on the back side of the caliper, in the wheel well. You are towards the back of the vehicle. We're going to start by taking this banjo bolt off, which is the feed line into the caliper. It is the bottom of the brake line that you are going to be replacing. So that is your 10 millimeter bolt, or at least for me it is. Pretty sure it should be for you guys too, because these are the OEM brake lines. So we're just gonna get our 10 millimeter and our socket on there, and we're just gonna crack that baby loose. And then, I mean, if you can run it back, run it out by hand, go for it. If not, I think I'm gonna have to just kind of sit here with the ratchet for a minute to get it almost all the way out. I would highly suggest you get an oil pan or something that can collect liquid down here because you're gonna start leaking brake fluid because it's a pressurized system, obviously. So highly recommend you getting something down here so that you can catch the fluid that will be otherwise on your garage floor, driveway floor, friend's driveway floor, whatever. I think this is good enough to the point where we can run it out by hand, hopefully. Yeah, it looks like it. We're almost out. There we go. And obviously there goes all the brake fluid that was in our line and in our caliper. So now it is down, and now we got to get it off the car. All right, so now for you observant people, we are now towards the front of the car in the same wheel well, but we're on the opposite side of the caliper. Now we're going for this little snap clip or snap ring, and then we're going for this nut that holds the hard line onto the rubber line that we're going to be replacing. So this is where your vice grip comes in handy. Sorry, it's a little bit difficult to have a light, camera, and my hand in here at the same time, but you're gonna get your vice grip on that top tab of that little snap clip. You're gonna kind of pry gently against the fitting here. And you'll see that it slowly starts to come up. You're going to be using this clip, so make sure you don't break it. Just like that, the clip is out and uninjured. On to the next step. Now this next step, I would definitely advise you to use some penetrating fluid on that hard line. Let it sit for about 5 minutes because it's definitely hasn't been used, hasn't been turned since it got put on in the factory about 20 or so years ago. So throw some penetrating fluid on there and just wait 5 minutes to let it soak in. It'll make your life 10 times easier. But don't do it before the snap clip because then you're gonna be slipping off of it with the vice grips. For our next step, I've let it soak for a little bit. You're gonna use your 7/16 wrench and you're gonna loosen this hard line on that little wrench fitting. I am probably gonna do this off camera because you need as much leverage as humanly possible. One thing I would recommend is pull your little ABS line out of the bracket. This is electrical. Right, yeah, this is electrical, so this doesn't carry any brake fluid, so don't worry about bending it. It's just all electrical. Yeah, so you can kind of bend it a little bit. Obviously you don't want to break it, so be careful, but don't be overly cautious. I actually got it to break loose pretty easily. I got my wrench in, let's move the tripod. I got my wrench in that position, and then I just kind of didn't want it to be that ambitious about positioning. Then I got it in this position, and then I just kind of pushed up on it, slowly nudged on it until it broke loose. But this is just going to be a slow game of a quarter turn at a time, just continuing to loosen it, and then I'll update you when it's off. Now one more thing I wanted to show you. Now the line is completely off. You can see it's all the way off. Now you can pull the old line out, and that's the old line out. Now I want to address the elephant in the room. Which line is which? So I actually did the other side and prepped for this video, so I actually know that this is the correct line that I'll be using, this one right here. But a good way to tell is, so on the new line, if we observe here, the counter bore, could it focus please? If it would ever focus, the counter bore is opens up all the way on one side of the brake line, where it does not on the other side. So clearly they are side dependent. And then you have your bend. And so when you take your old line off, compare it with your new line. Oh, the counter bore opening up all the way is at the top. Same here, as you can see. Opening up at the top, and then they both bend away. And so this must be the correct line. Otherwise it would bend the opposite direction, or the counter bore would be opening up on the bottom side. So yeah. Now to put the new brake line on, it's just gonna be a reverse of what we just did. So there's a little slot in here, and there's a slot on the front side of this little clip. So you're gonna want to line those up, kind of slide it through there, and then I will probably pause it before I actually get it. But what you're gonna want to do is you're just gonna want to kind of sit here and just play with it until it threads. And obviously it's gonna take more than the first attempt because the stars don't always align, but we can still work through it. Never mind, it worked on the second attempt. That actually worked really well. Well, then we'll do this all in one cut. So what you're gonna do next is kind of hold it forward. Sorry, you're on 0.5, but it's hard to see this otherwise. Let me see if I can flip you over. Yep. Okay. You're gonna kind of push it forward, and then you're gonna put that clip back in. And this is where I would use a hammer and just kind of. I actually don't have my hammer with me. I'm gonna go grab it. It's gonna take about 10 seconds. All right, we're back with the hammer, but now what you're gonna do is you're gonna very gently, persuasively tap that little clip down. It's easiest when you move your ABS line out of the way. But again, you're not drilling it to the center of the earth. You're just some light taps just to get that. Some light taps to get that snap ring back around, and like that, it's back around. And then, I mean, we're done with this, so we can put this back into its spot if it wants to. There we go. And I'll see you on the backside to put the line into the caliper. All right, so you're recording, and if you guys are again observant, you are now on the backside of the caliper, the backside of the wheel well. So this is where things change a little bit because I'm using an aftermarket caliper, so I'm not gonna use the supplied bolt. You will be using your 16mm supplied bolt on your 3/8 ratchet. I will be using an 11mm because that's what my calipers came with. So what we're gonna do is you wanna sandwich your washers, so one below the bolt but before the big thick piece of metal, and then one on the back side here. I hope you can see that. I know lighting's not amazing. Let me see if I can fix that. All right, so you got one washer on the back side, one washer in between, kind of sandwiched, and then we're just gonna calmly go over to our bolt hole. We'll start making sure we don't cross thread. Let's start running down the bolt. I mean, that's basically it. I'll get my 11mm socket on here. Again, you will be using a 16. Just the difference between us. Joking. You're gonna want to make sure that it's the brake line can only really go one way. It goes towards the hard piece goes towards the caliper. It actually can, yeah. So it's not long enough to the point where you can put it the exact opposite way. But then there's also this larger ridge where you can't fasten it vertical. So it's either going to go towards the coilover, towards the if you don't have coilovers, it'll go towards the front of the car or towards the back of the car. So those are your only two real options. Sorry, I knocked the tripod, but You don't need to put Hulk strength on it, but make sure that it is tight and snug on there. And that basically wraps it up. One more thing, looking at the new assembly on the wheel, on the vehicle. You're now going to need to bleed your brakes. You will be doing that using this nozzle, this bleeder valve. If I can get the rubber cap off of it. I cut my nails yesterday and now I'm shooting myself in the foot because of it. You're gonna use the bleeder valve, which should be at the top of your caliper, to bleed your brakes now because there's obviously air in the line. I will not be showing you how to do that because it will be a copy paste of what Chris Fix does in his YouTube videos. I would look up how to bleed brakes. You can do it with one person. It's usually a lot easier to do it with a second person, so I would highly recommend that you get a family member out here now and have them help you to bleed brakes. Family, friend, I don't know, someone, but that basically summarizes it. Yeah. Also, I forget the technical term for it, but just one more heads up, brake fluid is a very damaging substance. It I have it all over my hands. I'm gonna go wash it off right after I finish this. But make sure to wipe down all your painted and metal surfaces. Try and get brake fluid off of it. It's not the nicest substance in the world when it comes to paint and metal. Kind of has its ways with it. So make sure to wipe everything down thoroughly with some sort of rag that you don't really care about. So now you have your line on, you need to bleed the brakes. So in order to bleed the brakes, I'm gonna show you my one-person method to do so. You're going to get a water bottle or soda bottle in my case. You're gonna fill it and you're gonna drill a hole in the cap so that you can have a little rubber line come out of it. You're gonna put brake fluid in the bottom of the bottle so that when any sort of back pressure happens, it'll suck in more brake fluid. And again, this is a one-person method. You can also do it 2 people if you have a friend. I currently do not have a friend here with me, so we're gonna locate our bleeder valve, which is this valve right here. And then we're gonna place our hose on top of the bleeder valve. I might have to get a different hose, or this one's gonna just barely seal. So now we have it sealed. Let me find a spot for me to put this. So I'm gonna put you back on the tripod in a second, but you're gonna want to make sure that your hose is actually submerged in the line in the amount of brake fluid that you have. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna pop the hood. So I'm gonna do that right now. So you're gonna pop the hood and you're gonna locate your brake fluid reservoir, which is right here. So you're gonna make sure your reservoir is topped up. You can see pretty vaguely that my reservoir line is right about there. You can see where it gets a little bit darker. Sorry, I keep moving the tripod around. Then what you're gonna do, you're gonna make sure that that's topped up. You're gonna put the top back on that. And then all you're gonna do is you're gonna crack the bleeder valve open once you have your hose. Once you have your hose placed on there, you're gonna crack the bleeder valve open. And then all you're gonna do is you're gonna keep depressing the brake pedal. You're gonna keep depressing the brake pedal all the way to the floor. And hopefully it'll squirt some fluid out. And it'll shoot some air bubbles out at first. And then it will start shooting just straight fluid out. And you won't really be able to see it other than the level will go up a little bit. So I'm gonna show you what you wanna do on the pedal. So as far as we're concerned, this is all set up and all good, and we can leave this the way it is until we are ready to tighten our bleeder valve again. So you're just gonna crack it open about a quarter turn. I've already done so. Apologies for the dirty car, but what you're gonna do now, my bleeder valve is cracked. What you're gonna do now is you're gonna depress your brake all the way to the bottom. Hold it for 2 seconds, and you're gonna let it come back up. And you're gonna keep doing this. I'd say 3 or 4 times, and then you're gonna double check that your reservoir hasn't gone gone down too much, because you don't want your reservoir in the engine bay to run out. So I'm gonna do it a fourth time, and then we can go check. Okay, I just checked the reservoir. It's all good, topped it off again. And so now we can get back to pumping the brakes. And a good tip that I have for you is it would be nice if you had a clear hose so you could see what's going on inside that rubber hose, the black one that I have. It would be nice if you could get a clear hose, because then you can see if it's filled up with brake fluid or not. I'm just gonna keep going until the pedal feels pretty good. It's starting to get a little stiffer, and that's how you know you're doing a good job. And once you believe it's all done and you're getting nothing but brake fluid coming out of that tube, and you're squirting all the air out, and the brake pedal's feeling tighter, there's more firmness, there's more pressure. It's not easy to push it all the way to the ground. You can cap before you take off the, let me just show you. As you may be able to see, let me zoom in real quick. There's a little bit of bubbles saturating it, and their color has turned a little bit darker, and it's raised up a little bit. So now I was looking at it, and I could see that there were no more bubbles coming out towards the end. Last time I did it, I was peeking my head out the door. As your hose is still on your caliper and your bleeder valve, you can now tighten your bleeder valve again, and then remove your hose and remove your little fixture. I just tightened it, so now we can remove everything and dispose of your brake fluid properly, and that should be your brakes bled. Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for this review and install of the Performance Stainless Steel Brake Line Kit from SR Performance for the front of your 1999 through 2004 Mustang. And for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.